Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's Python Tkinter tutorial, we are building something really useful, a student management admin app with student dashboards, role-based login, and full GUI control to add, edit, and delete students, all without touching any code after the setup. Yes, so whether you're a beginner looking to level up or a teacher who wants to manage class data easily, this is for you. So open your editor, grab some coffee, and let's build this together, step by step. All right, yes, so let's get started. So firstly, we'll just import our Tkinter for GUI components. Now let us go on and create our logging in interface. So we can create a class which we can call login window. Let's initialize the class. All right, and let's define some few variables. Now let us set up our title for our window. Let's just simply call it login. And then our size, window size. And let's set up the background color as well. All right, so now we have our window, right, which we have defined. And then let us also have a label that will also include as well. So Tkinter label. Text. The text can just be, since it's a login screen, we can have a login button. Font. Bold. Back. Okay, let's just make this bigger, and let's also show line numbers. Okay, so we have our label now. So just to explain here, so we have our class and we've initialized it. Yes, and then we have defined some few variables. So our root here our root that we have here, right? What we are doing is we have our window, right? We have our main window, and within that main window we will put it in the root. We'll put it, everything will be within the root. Maybe let's do this quickly so that we can see what I'm talking about. So let's go on and define a function here which will run our app. So we have root here as tk, this, then we have login window, which is what we just worked on now, our class root. This will then create our login system, root main loop. Then to start the program now, if main name main. So we can run this. So as mentioning before, yeah, so we have our window that we've created, and everything that we do, we are putting it into our root, which is Tkinter itself, which will allow us to have this window that we have here. So everything that all the widgets that we are adding in, we are adding them into this window now that we have created, which is the root. All right, yeah. So let's go on then and continue on working on our logging in window. Yes. So what else can we create? So let's create some few username entry and also password entry and such. So let's go on and so let's add a username label and also an entry box. So tk label root, right? Because it's going to be our root, and then user name. Background color, now keeping it the same, just white. Pack. All right, so now we have our label, and now we can then have our username entry. And we're putting it on root, self user name entry pack. Okay, let's run that. Yeah, so as you can see now we have our username right there. Okay, let's do the same now for the password as well. So we can just copy all of this, paste, and then just make some few changes. For one, the text will be password, and instead of username here, it's going to be password entry. Copy that, paste it here. And because it's a password, you don't want to show the password, so we can have show asterisk like this because it's a password. Okay, let's go on and run that. Okay, amazing. And now what we need is we need a login button as well to complete our interface. So TK button root text login. Alright, so then we have command. Now what is command for? Command is what we use to call a function, right? But we don't have any function yet, so let's just leave it like this. And background. Let's use a different color. Let's just fix this here. Okay. Alright, so let's run that. Alright, yes, there we go. So now we have our logging in layout, our interface. Everything is ready. Now let us finally work on the functions. Yes, so now let us work in on the database so that we can be able to call our function. So we'll have a simple dictionary here simulating a user database. Yeah, so when it comes to the database, you can usually it's good to just have a file, that will contain all the database, that will be used. But it's fine. In this case, we're just going to be coding everything into a dictionary. So let's go on and do that. So we're going to call it user data. So we have user data. And let's define the user data. So in this case, this is going to be for those who are logging in. So we're going to have, let's say, an admin person. And attached to this admin, there's a password that they'll use as well. Let's just call it admin123. And here we then indicate that they're admin user. So we can have more than one admins, but in this case, let's just keep it to one. Let's add more here and edit. So let's say we also have students, right? We'll be accessing the system. We can just write the student's name, and they can just have a password, which is usually like their student IDs or whatnot. And we can just indicate they are student. Just copy this. Yeah, student. Okay. Another student can maybe be Emma. Their password can maybe be pi 456, maybe something like that. Yeah. Yes. So we have now our database here. So let's go on and close that. Okay. So this is the database to log in, and then now let's also have a dictionary to simulate the student marks. You have the marks that they have, and they are stored as well within a certain data. So let's do that as well. Okay, so let's say maybe we have John first. Let's say maybe John's marks are they have the math subject, and they have 85%. Then they also have science, then maybe they have 78%. Okay, let's do the same for Emma. Let's just edit here. Let's change the marks maybe a bit. Let's say one is 78, 75, and 88. Okay, let's close that. Yeah, so this is the database that we have basically. All right, so now let us go on into the fun part. So now what we will do is we will just work on a dashboard. Yeah, a dashboard, because once you log in, you just want to go to the dashboard. So let's go on and work on a dashboard. Let's define a function and let's say open dashboard. You'll need the username and the role. The role being whether they're admin or student. Dash TK. Sorry for the background noise. Okay, now let's have our title. Dashboard. Geometry. I'm so sorry for the background. I'm just gonna. Okay, sorry about that. I just closed the windows. Hopefully that helps a bit. All right, so we have the geometry, which is the window size of the dashboard, right? Yes, and then let's also set up a background color as well. This time around, let's just make it a bit light blue. A light blue background. I think I think that should be light blue. Yeah, I think that should be light blue. Okay, yeah, so I think let's keep it here for now. Let's keep it here for now. And then, remember in our button here, right, we didn't have any command. So we wanted to create a function, right? When we press this button, then we are able to check, compare the data of that you put in with what we have, and then if it matches, then you log in, you go into the database. So let's do that. So let's create a new function within this class, within the login window class. Login. So let's just say print for now. Then we can then call this function here, self login. Let's run that. Oh, yes, we need to close this as well. Close. Okay, login. Yeah, as you can see, when we press login, something is happening. This is good. Something is happening. Yeah. All right. So now let's work on our login function. So firstly, we have username. Self. Let's just copy this actually. Username. let's just copy this. Whoa. Then we want to change that with password. Just want to rather copy paste so that I'm a bit quicker. Alright, so whatever we enter in our entry box, we will then get that info, store it in username and password. And then we need to check if the username exists and whether the password matches. So we can say if username in user data. User data, what we defined here. So we're checking if everything is there. So username, user, and also user data, username, okay, then we're checking if the password matches. This one. All right, and then if everything matches very well, what we want to do is we want to get the role as well, whether they're a student or they are the admin. So role is user data, user data like this, username, okay, so we're getting that. And then now after that, we will then close the window once we've confirmed that the data is there. Destroy. And then we'll open our dashboard. Okay, let's check it out. Yeah, let's check it out. Okay, suppose you have admin, right? And then the password is admin 123. We log in. As you can see, now our dashboard is open. All right, but there are cases, of course, maybe where the password is not correct. So we can have an else here. Then if the password is wrong, we can just show a message box which can show the error. Login failed. Invalid credentials. Okay, that should do it. Yeah, so now we have our login. Quite straightforward. Now let's work more on our dashboard, because remember we're looking at an admin and also a student, so we want them to have sort of a different interface. As an admin, you want to be able to to edit the data, add more students, and then as a student you just want to view the data. So now let's work more on the dashboard. So now you have successfully logged in, and now you go into the dashboard. What do you want to see? So firstly, you want to be welcomed very well. So let's have a welcome label. Let's have a text. Maybe it can just be welcome. And we can just, it can show the username title as a title. And maybe we can also show the role as well. Role. Now what else? I think that's fine. I think that's fine. So let's have the font. Let's keep it to Arial 14. And since the title, let's make it bold. Set a background. Red Y 10. Let's just stretch this a bit so we can see the whole code. Okay, let's run and check if everything is in order. So admin, 1, 2, 3. Okay, there you go. Welcome, admin. Okay, amazing. It's looking good. And now let's work on the admin view. So if you are logged in but you are an admin, the view must be slightly different. So let's say if role is admin, meaning you are recognized as an admin. Let's add a button. And within this button, let's just dash, let's put text where you are able to add the students. Remember command calls a function, but we're just gonna leave it empty for now. Let's set up a background. Okay. Set a foreground color. Let's make it white. Okay, so we have now our button. Let's also show the students' marks as well. For student, subjects. Let me see here. Student. Yeah, for students, subjects in student DB, which is what we called it. Items. Then let's put the widget. Reframing it. Dash. Put a color. Okay, we have our color. Let's give it a border. frame back. Okay, and then now let's also maybe just to show what we have so far. Suppose one is admin, right? Admin 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so we have now the add student button, right, which does nothing for now, and then we have this border that we've created here, and we gave it a color as well. Okay, so let's go on and work on that. So now we want to show the student's info. So info, student title. So we have the student title, right? And then we can just have a dash, and then we can then attach and join. We can then indicate the subject. Sub for subject. And then we also need to show the marks as well. So rather, let's just separate it like this. The double colon, then mark. Yeah, so the information will just be the student name, basically, their subject, and also the marks as well. Now let's just keep it that simple. Then let's create a label for this. Label. Frame. The text can then be the info. Font. Let's keep it the same. Arial. Let's reduce the size. Yeah, let's reduce the size a bit. Let's also add background. Back side. Okay, yeah, so there we have yeah, so we have here. Okay, so of course there's more than there's more than one subject, so yeah, let's also put 4 sub mark subjects items. Yeah, so let's just check this one. So once again, so we have the info student title, right? Yes, and we We'll then join that together with the subject, the mark. Okay, yeah. Okay, let's check that. Oh yes, sorry, it's supposed to be a rounded bracket. Okay, and then we forgot here. Yeah. Okay. What else? Oh, there's also yeah, forgot to put this here. Yeah. Okay, let's check it out. Admin 1, 2, 3. Okay, as you can see, now we can see the marks, right? We can see the marks, everything is proper. Yeah. So let us now go on and put in some buttons here. We can have maybe an edit button and also a button to delete as well. So let's go on and add those buttons. So we have buttons, okay, frame, buttons, pack, side. Okay, we have buttons that we're going to put on the right. So TK button, buttons, text. This is going to be our first button. We can just have an edit button. Command. Let's give it empty for now. This will be the button to allow us to edit the student's information. Let's give it a color. Maybe let's go with then the foreground color. Let's do it white. Let's give it width. Then let's pack side right. Maybe let's keep it left. Okay, so let's just copy this button and then we can just sorry about that. Yeah, so let's just copy the button now and then just edit it into the delete buttons. So we have the add button, now we can just have the delete button. Let's keep the command empty for now, and let's have them have different colors. This is a delete button. I think a red color would be good. Let's keep everything else the same. Yeah. Okay, let's go on and check that. Okay, admin, admin, 1, 2, 3. Again. All right, amazing. So we have the edit and the delete button. All right, everything is in order now. Of course, nothing is happening for now. Nothing is happening. But what if you are a student and you log in? So at this point, if you are a student and you log in, one of our students is who? It's John, right? Let's just make this simple. Let's just say John 1, 2, 3. So suppose you're a student at this point and you log in, right? John 1, 2, 3. You log in. Right. What do you see? You see nothing because you're just a student and you do not have the rights to the admin dashboard. So let's go on then and work on the student view. So far we've looked at the admin view. So now let's look at the student view. So to make things easier for us, let's just copy this whole code here. And then paste it. So now we're working on the student view. So let's just fix this. So instead of saying if else, we can just say else. Because remember, you can only be admin or student. So it's quite straightforward in that regard. Okay, and then let's just remove this code entirely. So let's just say else. Yeah, let's just say else. So suppose you're a student, then we get the student data. Student user. So if student data for subject items, we create a label. Label dash text. Subject font Okay, amazing. So we have our label now, and yeah, this will then just show the student details. Then let's also go on and create a button. Not a button, but a label to show us if there are no marks that are found. case there are still some updates. No data available. Background. Let's just copy this background. Yeah, I think we are pretty much good. Yeah, we're pretty much good. And then let's just have a dashboard name. Okay, we are done. We are done with our dashboard. Yeah, let's go on and check it out. So you're a student, your name is John, you log in, put in your student ID, 123, John 123, you log in, and then you see your marks. Alright, amazing. But let's say now your admin is like, no, John, the marks you got are not correct. They're not correct. Yes. And then John is like, okay, please show me the correct marks then. And then the admin has to get back to work and edit. Yes. So firstly, let us think about maybe some few things that the admin can do, which is adding a student. So we said that the admin role, one of their role is that they will be able to add a student, right? So they'll be able to add a student. So let's go on and create a function for them to be able to add a student. So add student window top level window. So this is basically creating a pop-up window for us where the information can just be added in and saved. Pop-up title add student. Let's give it a window size. 300 by 300. Configure pop-up why am I saying configure? Configure. It's like this, right? I hope I didn't misspell it. And then let's give it a color. Okay. So we have our pop-up window, and let's also add in a few things as well to our pop-up. Let's add a label to our pop-up. Text student user name. Let's pack 1, 5. Okay, and then of course maybe let's just run this quickly. Wait, before we run it we need to actually call this, right? So this is our button where you add student. So now let's have a function where as the admin presses this button, it then calls that function. So we can command lambda add student dash. Okay, let's run that. Oh yes, let's close that. Okay, what else? Forgot a comma here. What else did I forget? Nothing else. Okay. Admin 123. We log in. Now we want to add the student, right? And then a pop-up shows up, as you can see right here. So in this pop-up, we just want to put in a few widgets where we can be able to then edit the marks of the students. So let's go on and create a few labels and buttons. So there's 2 subjects, so it won't be that many. So we'll just have TK label. So with the TK label, actually let's start with the entry. Yeah, so let's start with the entry where you are able to enter the student's name. Actually, now that I think about it, but it still needs a label, so let's just say the label. It's going to be part of the pop-up. Text math school. School, and put a background. Just copy this. It's the same. Okay, so with our label, let's just copy this. Pretty much the same, really. Then instead of math school, it's going to be science. Yeah, and then underneath each, you want to then have the entry. So you can say user name entry, username entry, TK entry. Actually, let's just copy this as well. Okay. And now we want an entry as well. Let's just copy both. We want an entry as well for the math score, but instead of username entry, we can just say maths entry. Maths. Yeah, and then let's also have one for science. So you can also just say science. Yes. And lastly, we want to have a way to submit all the data. So once you've edited everything, now you also just want to submit everything. Now let's add a function. Let's add a function which will allow us to submit the data. So we have name, which is the, actually let's just copy this with the name, which is the user entry. Get and let's just go ahead and copy this 2 times, and now we can just have then formats and for science. Let's edit this C here. Science. Yeah. So which means then we can just also edit here. Maths. Science. Okay. And then now we need to validate the input. If not name or not maths digit or not science is digit. Message box show error invalid input. Okay, then return. So this ensures that we make sure that everything that's added it is digits within the scores. Let's also have a way to check if student already exists. So if name in student db, which means the student is already there, we can also have a error message that can be returned as well. In this case, let's just say error student already exists. Student already exists. Yeah, I think that's fine. Okay, and I think that's fine. So now let's save the new student data. Student db name so we have maths int then also have science user data name and let's just have a default password. We can just say default 1 2 3 and then they can just rather be student role. Okay, all right, I think we got everything. Yeah, I think we got everything. So now let's just have a message box then to show up. Message box. In this case, it can just show information. Show info. added, name, title, added, added successfully. Okay, and then once that happens, we can just destroy the pop-up message. Destroy everything and go back to the dashboard. Admin. Okay, all right. So in order for us to submit everything, let's then go back to our add student function, add a button. And this time around, this button will add student. Add student. Command submit. PG, which is the background, can just be foreground, just keep it white. Now let's pack P20. Okay, let's check it out. So we have admin, 1, 2, 3. You log in, but now you want to add the student. So as you can see, you're adding the students. Okay, John. Then you add the student. Joined successfully. Okay, this is good. And then you can see the update here. Okay, everything is good so far. Everything is good. Okay, so lastly, we'll just add our functions then to edit and to delete. Let's do that quickly. Yes, so to do that, we have edit, right? Edit student window. Where subjects student db get student. If not subject, return for subject in list subjects. Then you put in new mark, simple dialog, edit mark, So we put in the new mark, then if new mark is not none, student subject. Then let's show that it's updated. I think we used a message box before, so let's just copy this. Paste it here. It's much quicker. So with message box info, you can just say now updated. Updated. Instead of name, it can be student. Title. Then it can be marks. Successfully marks. Let's just say updated. And in this case, we can then destroy the window. Yeah. And then open the dashboard again. Open dashboard. Okay, yeah, I think it's fine. And then we can also have a function just to be able to delete student window. In this case, you can say confirm message box. This is just to for you to be able to just confirm if you're really serious about deleting the information or not. Okay, then let's say if confirm student db pop student user data pop student none, and then yeah, okay, I think we got everything now. I think we got everything. Yeah.